What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Shots from the Winchester Podcast, brought to you by Greencastle Consulting. I'm here with Daniel Lee, owner of Farina Pasta and Noodles. All right, so we're downtown Philadelphia right now. We're not at the Winchester, obviously. But we needed to get down here and talk to you, Daniel, because you're a veteran. You're also a Black-owned business in Philadelphia. Tell us a little bit, before we get too deep into it, tell us a little bit about your veteran background, your military background.
Yeah, so I got into the Army right out of high school.
Yeah.
I signed my contract, I think, while I was still in school.
Yeah.
So I shipped off to basic out in June. I did 4.5 years in the Army. I was EOD, explosive ordnance disposal. It was a really, really fun job. Didn't deploy. We were at the tail end of Iraq and Afghanistan, so all the deployments were winding down. So I didn't end up deploying, and that was part of the reason why I ended up leaving. You know, the contract was up, and I was like, well, we're not really doing much, so I just wanted to get out. And from there, I just hopped off and went over to Drexel here and did the culinary school.
That's another good fact too. Drexel is awesome. I love that school.
Yeah.
Culinary. What drew you to culinary? What got you thinking about food?
Well, I've always loved cooking.
Yeah.
Like ever since I was a kid, my family they're a big cooking family. My aunts, my uncles, everybody can cook.
Yeah.
So I was kind of like up underneath my mom and my grandmother. They showed me a lot, and I fell in love with it. And then, you know, I didn't want to do that in the military. I wanted to do something that was more hands-on, that was more dangerous. My mom thought I was trying to kill myself. Of course, you know,
explosives,
right?
stuff,
you know, but I got all my fingers and everything, so I'm fine.
Yeah.
But I wanted to do something when I got out that was more, you know, aligned with what I already knew.
Yeah.
You know, and Drexel was perfect. You know, I searched up culinary schools on the East Coast that were kind of more in the Northeast, and Drexel was one of the very few that popped up that had the yellow ribbon program, to where they paid for the other portion that's not paid for in your post 9/11 GI Bill.
Oh,
so
interesting.
your
Okay.
entire schooling gets paid for. You know, I only had to pay for books, you know, uniforms, knives, you know, things like that.
Yeah.
You know, but you know, I had no debt. You know, and I was able
beautiful.
to. It was great. You know, I was able to leave. I took all my credits that I got from the military, transferred them over, and I was able to finish my entire degree in about 3 years.
Wow. And that's with the help of the GI Bill.
That's with the help of the GI
Wow,
Bill
that's
and the
really
post
good.
9/11 GI Bill, or the yellow ribbon program. That's one thing that, like, if you're going to go to school, see if they have something that's going to cover anything else that might be left over.
Yeah.
You know, like there's still, you know, the post, it only covers up to a certain amount. It's like, I don't know, 19,000, whatever it is.
Right.
But, you know, you want to see if there's something out there that the school offers that will cover the rest.
So let's talk about, you got a love for pasta when you traveled to Italy.
Well, it was a little bit before that.
Okay.
So I had a pasta making class in school.
Okay.
And my former business partner and I, we were kind of like, you know, I tossed around this idea of like a fast casual type of pasta,
Nice.
which didn't seem to exist here in the city. And it was strange because, you know, you have an entire Italian market, but all the pasta places here are sit down, white tablecloth, you know, wine, waiters, the whole thing.
Right.
And it didn't seem to make any sense as to why you can't make high quality pasta and sell it at a, you know, a reasonable price, a lower price, for people, and it's just quick, you know?
Yeah.
So we started thinking about that, started looking at some of the stuff we were making in school, and I was like, oh, that's pretty cool. I then did a study abroad at the end, my last term in school, which is like a phenomenal way to end a school, was in Italy.
Nice.
So that did that for 3 months or so, and that really inspired a lot of the menu.
Wow.
And just, I brought that back. I remember writing a whole bunch of stuff down for like what could be on the menu here.
Wow.
And I just took it with me, and that's what's here now.
That's
you know?
awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome. I love that you can find inspiration and find a love in something, and then travel to do that. I always tell people, don't get stuck where you're at.
Yeah.
Traveling is important because you get a lot of culture from that, and a lot of experiences that you're not going to get just where you're living at.
Oh, yeah.
There's so many other things going on in the world.
The world is huge.
Yeah.
You know, it's like massive. And even like, you know, because a lot of people, even in the military, they're like, oh, they'll travel out, but sometimes they won't really leave too far outside of the base.
Right.
You know?
Right.
So it's kind of like you really got to go not too deep, but you can go out into the neighborhoods of some of these places where tourists don't go, and just, they'll still welcome you. They'll still take your money if you're going to eat. So,
yeah, exactly right.
So, just do it,
Right.
Why not?
That's awesome, man. I was looking into your story a little bit. You started in 2020 in a ghost kitchen.
Right.
Yeah. So tell people about what that is.
Right. So the ghost kitchens were a relatively new concept. People have been doing this kind of like quietly, like for some time even before the pandemic.
Right.
But the pandemic really took them off because all the restaurants were kind of halfway closed down, fully closed, So these are basically, at least the ones here in Philly, are like apartments for restaurants. So you go into this building and you wouldn't know that there are a bunch of restaurants in there. But if you go up the stairs, you'll see that they're just like apartments, all these doors, and in each door is a kitchen, like a small 150, 200 square foot kitchen. And all you're doing is Grubhub, DoorDash, Uber Eats sales of your food. So you can open up, and that's how we opened up our store, was just through those delivery platforms. That's how we could make sales. And on the company that we were with that was running these ghost kitchens, they were still kind of developing in a way. So we couldn't even really take phone orders. We couldn't, we couldn't take website orders either. It just wasn't integrated into their system yet.
Right.
And they were really expensive as far as rent and a lot of the other things that they were charging, whereas actually it ended up being more money for us there than it is here.
Interesting.
Yeah, it's pretty
wild.
wild.
We're downtown Philadelphia.
Yeah.
Now,
This
is
like
where I think that people spend some money to be here. You're in
hard
prime territory. You've got walking crowd here right now. We'll show you a little bit of the video afterwards, but you've got you kind of come down into it, off the street, which is cool. So how did you get this location now? Because I know that had to be a struggle.
Well, getting the location wasn't that big of a struggle. It was actually, so we left the ghost kitchens after 7 months. I did a very short contract with them because I wasn't too sure about it. I'm glad I did. And I was just kind of walking around downtown one day. This was 2021, 2020, early or late 2020, something like that. And I was just kind of walking around thinking, trying to clear my head, trying to figure out where can we go next, because I didn't want to stay in the ghost kitchens.
Right.
And I just happened to be walking down Walnut and I saw this space, and I was like, they had the big, that big pink bear, this says that the space was open. I'm like, oh, this seems pretty dope.
Yeah.
And I knew that spaces, in this area, just like what you're saying, I mean, you're in high traffic, a lot of walking, a lot of cars, so high visibility. So I knew it was going to be really expensive.
Right.
But because this place is kind of underground, I figured, well, it couldn't be that much.
You're right.
Because some of these spaces, they're going to go for $10,000 or more a month.
Right.
And we coincidentally, we did look at a place around the corner that they were asking for like $12,000 a month, and I was like, nah, man, I couldn't do that.
Yeah.
I mean, they still haven't moved it yet. Right. So that tells you a little bit about, how the economy is still working around here.
Absolutely.
And this space, I mean, kind of like as you see it is how it was. Now we decorated it a little bit. We painted the walls. We put up the thing here.
Yeah.
But all of the expensive stuff, all of the construction, what is it, the countertop here,
paneling,
the hood system, all of that was here, and those things cost.
Good.
I mean, if I came in and the stuff wasn't there, probably would have ran about $50,000 to put all that stuff in.
Yeah.
So it was perfect. This place was already set up for what we needed it for, and I'm like, well, we just need to do this.
Yeah.
So we moved in. We separated. Got the keys to the place maybe 2-3 weeks later.
Yeah.
And just started hammering away at cleaning the place up, putting in our own equipment, getting the permits and all the other stuff.
Time.
Yeah.
That
is a lot of work.
Exactly. Yeah. It's a mix of labor of love.
100%. Because I didn't have enough money to hire teams of people to come in here and clean the place up and paint the walls. I did all this work myself.
Wow.
And at that time I had lost my business partner because he wasn't it just wasn't, it was too much work.
Yeah.
It was a lot of work. So he just wasn't feeling it. So I lost him. So before we opened, I was the only one running this.
Wow.
Yeah. So putting all this stuff together, getting all of that was just left up to me at that point.
Wow.
So incredible amount of work.
Yeah.
And that was September 2021 when we finally got open.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, kudos to you for the perseverance and sticking to your dream, right?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like this is like one of those things where I'm like, wow, is this a possibility downtown?
Yeah.
When I saw the address, it was like, damn, dude is downtown.
We get people from the hotels all the time.
That's
They're
awesome.
walking down. They're like, they're just looking for something quick.
Yeah.
And all of the places that are around here, they usually close up at about 8.
Yeah.
We're open till 9, 10 o'clock.
Oh, that's awesome.
So yeah, we get stragglers that come in all the time. They're just looking for food.
Tell us about the food. Tell us a little bit about your pasta. What's your favorite pasta that you make here?
So I think my favorite is probably the pistachio pesto. That's our take on a regular pesto sauce. Normally it goes with pine nuts. We throw some pistachios in there, some basil, some spinach, a lot of garlic. It's like super savory. It's really delicious and it's really fresh. It's not like heavy,
right?
Because it's not a lot of sauce, but it's really, really packed full of flavor. I like that with like shrimp or maybe sausage or something like that.
Oh wow! Yeah, that sounds awesome.
Yeah, and I'll do it with usually I'll do it with like the rigatoni noodles.
Nice.
Yeah, and that's kind of like what we do is you can customize everything.
Yeah.
So if you wanted to have the pistachio pesto sauce by itself is actually vegan, so you wouldn't really know it. But you could just, you have the vegan pistachio pesto, right? And you get that maybe with some tomatoes or some spinach or whatever else, something like that.
You're good to go.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you can do vegetarian and you could do your standard meat.
I try to cover all the bases, gluten-free. We got really great gluten-free noodles, really great.
Yeah.
We get those imported from Italy.
Nice.
Because obviously we can't make them here.
Yeah.
But the gluten-free, we got vegan, we got vegetarian. I try to, like the meatballs, normally meatballs are made with veal, pork, and beef. That's the normal mix.
Right.
But when I opened up in the Ghost Kitchen was out in West Philly. It was a heavy Muslim population.
Yeah.
And a lot of people just didn't eat pork.
Right.
And so I was like, all right, cool. Well, I'll do chicken and beef meatballs. And I realized I had to label those as chicken and beef because a lot of people would just assume that it would come with pork.
Right.
It doesn't.
Wow.
So it's kind of one of the things you have to kind of play to the audience you have.
Yeah, exactly. That makes perfect sense, especially, So with this, you've got a staff now.
Yeah.
You've been working here. You've been here for over a year now.
Yeah, we're coming up on 2 years in September.
That's awesome. Yeah. Man. That's really good.
Yeah, we're trying, man. Like we're better than we were last year. I was actually just the other day, I was looking at the numbers of 2021 of January and February, and then this year's numbers, and we're way better.
Nice.
Way better.
Nice.
So we're gaining, it's a slow build. You kind of think that you're going to be off to the races and you're just going to start making money when people start. But in a restaurant, you kind of go through like this dip, especially during the winter time. And the summer here in Philly because, everybody's off to the beach or the college students are in.
Yeah.
So that was a really rough time. Like our first year last year was really, really, really rough.
Yeah.
But now we're like picking back up steam. A lot of more people are coming in who haven't tried us before, who were regulars.
Nice.
We have regulars now who come in. It's awesome.
Yeah,
it's great.
yeah.
We get a lot of catering orders in. I do a lot of catering for the businesses just in like a 3-block radius here.
That's fantastic.
We just go up, drop the food off. We do giant trays of pasta.
Wow.
Again, it's all customizable. So the people who are ordering the food, they can order something from everybody, because it's kind of like a headache and you're trying to order food for 50 people, when you got some people who are vegan, you got some people who are vegetarian, oh, I don't eat pork, well, I don't want to do cheese.
Yeah.
And it's like,
it's a lot to deal with.
Yeah, you can't just order like a pizza,
Right.
Yeah. So you have to kind of, you create something that everybody can have it.
Yeah.
And the offices around here, they really like that because it's easy for them.
Yeah.
And who doesn't like pasta?
Right.
So
I know, and if you don't, I don't know.
Right, you're like, I don't really want to talk with
friends.
you anyway.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So one of the things I like to leave people with at the end of the show, especially, and being a business owner as you are, I like to leave people with a business tip or something maybe that you learned along your journey that might help people who are kind of in your position right now, maybe struggling, looking for that way up.
Yeah.
Maybe there's a little advice you could give them.
I would definitely say to never give up. Like if you have customers, even if you only got like 5 customers, but they really love your product, there's a good chance you're going to be able to find like 500 other customers that are going to really love your product.
Right.
So I would say if you really believe in what you have and you have that sort of that backing from, you know, the people that have tried whatever it is that you got, keep moving forward. You know, so if you're like, you know, down on money, see if you can, you know, pull back your costs some more, see if you can, you know, drive the ball even harder to gain another customer to get you out of that dip.
Yeah.
Because if you have something that people like, there's a really good chance that there are way more people out there that really like your product. So you just have to just keep driving it. I mean, it's always going to be like, you're here because you got something really great, but then it's going to dip down because, you know, you're going to just kind of run out of steam a little bit. So then when you're in that valley, you got to just go back up the hill again, you know, the same way. Because, you know, there's the other side of it is you keep getting new customers because that word spreads. You know, people will talk about it.
Yeah. Speaking of talking about it, you're on social media. Yeah. Tell people how they can find you.
So people can find us on Instagram at Farina Noodle. Our address here is 132 South 17th Street. If they're looking for catering orders, they can email me at info@farinapastaphl.com, or they can give a call to the store at 267-930-3928.
The future of Farina Pasta. I feel like you got a goal you want to spread.
Oh, yeah. The idea is I want to take this and I want to move this to like 400 or 500 different locations. You know,
wow.
The more that I like interact with customers, the more 5-star reviews we get. It's like, why couldn't this be the next Chipotle of pasta?
Absolutely.
You know, there's no reason. You know, we can get the food out to people quickly. It's great food. You know, people love it. So why can't we just take that and scale it to something that size? So, I mean, that's my goal, is to just keep growing, get into a second location, build that second location. I wanted to have more windows than where we are now. But, you know, something that's up above, and now people can really see what we're doing. Nice. And then just third location, fourth location, just take off from there. You know?
That's awesome, man. Yeah. Hey, congratulations on your journey right now, especially moving forward. I'm there for it, man. Like especially when you start to expand and grow. You guys, make sure you like and follow, subscribe to Shots from the Winchester Podcast, and we'll talk to you later.